Hello everyone, welcome to Club Live here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. I am Scott Carney, and before I go any further, as some of you may already know, I say it's been in the news as well, and I mentioned it previously on the podcast, but Greg Monks sadly passed away in a tragic incident while on a stag do in Portugal, and he was only 38 years old. Greg was someone I knew personally and was genuinely a kind of salt of the earth kind of guy, and a good blue nose as well to go along with that. But the family have created a GoFundMe page to raise funds to get Greg home and hopefully raise a bit of money as well for his funeral. If you can make a donation, please do so. To help the family. The link is in the description, right at the top for this podcast. It's right at the very, very top. Obviously, all of us here at Club at 22 pass on our sincere condolences to his family and his closest friends, of course. Thank you, everybody, for letting me do that. Rest in peace, Greg, mate. The street definitely will not be the same without you. There isn't an easy way for me to move on from that, so I am just going to. We're here on a Thursday night, Ross. Can you Adam and Eve it? Then something has happened. And yes, of course, joining me tonight to discuss all of today's news, the appointment of Russell Martin being the new head coach of Rangers, is Ross McLean. Ross, how are you, my friend?
Get the Europa League theme going. Get it going. It's a Thursday night. The good vibes are here. I am feeling good, mate. I'm good. It's been a week for Rangers fans. Indeed, there's been news flying everywhere you look. And today is what we've been waiting for months. Let's be honest. So yeah, there's a lot to get into. How am I feeling? I don't quite know yet. I think that's probably in the similar camp to a lot of people. It's just, we'll need to wait and see what happens, but we'll speak all about it tonight, mate. There's plenty to discuss, as always.
Yeah, the sniper has been a member for 31 months, man.
Jeez,
31 months. Absolutely incredible. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And yeah, you're right, mate. It's a bit of a whirlwind. And I will say right off the bat, obviously I came on last night, did my bit on the basically the announcement happened last night, but obviously it was made official first thing this morning. And I know we are late to the party, but it was announced at 8 o'clock in the morning this morning as I was on my way to work, and I was like, well, that's not very good for a podcast, is it? Can't exactly phone the gaffer and go, by the way, boss, I can't exactly do anything today. I'm going to need to go back and do a podcast. So we are here obviously tonight to discuss that. But yeah, did my wee bit. And after hearing, and I knew I would feel different, and I knew my gander would be up a little bit more once I heard what the board had to say, once I heard what he had to say, for sure. And yes, I know it's all just words, but we're a fickle bunch, Rangers support, and I'm feeling much more pucker about things. There's loads to get into, loads of breakdown. I'm not saying that he is the answer, but he very well could be, and I think that's the easiest way to sum up where I am. I'm very much like, this could be a masterstroke. It couldn't be a masterstroke, but there's so many things that have to go along with it in order to make it a real success. So yeah, it was it's a long wait for us to come on and do the reaction to this, but I think it's about time, mate. It's about time that we have appointed a Rangers manager. The process went on a little bit too long for my liking. Ross, obviously you briefly just touched on it there, mate. What is your initial reaction to it? What was your feelings behind it when it looked like Russell Martin was very much becoming the front runner to be the next Rangers manager or next Rangers head coach, as he is going to be the head coach? What was your thoughts? Out of the three, obviously it was Gerrard, and I know people will tell you Gerrard wasn't linked for the job. He was, and he was spoke to about the job, and also Ancelotti, and then Russell Martin all of a sudden started to race in front of the pack. How were you feeling when it was all looking very much like it was going to be him?
I won't lie, saying underwhelmed. Underwhelmed's a word that did come back quite a few times. Gerrard was definitely asked about it. McCoy was on TalkSport this morning. I didn't realise that Gerrard's expected to be a grandfather, so I think it's probably just a kind of life's coming at him thick and fast. So fair play to him, and all the very best. Ancelotti, I would have loved. It's a name, but I guess I don't know if this is just the Russell Martin glasses slightly. Would it have been more of a project under Ancelotti, and we can't afford to be going through another project? So when looking at it, just now, is this potentially a better appointment than I would have thought of at first, potentially? But I won't lie in saying that it was a wee bit underwhelming, mate. I had to do a wee bit of research into who the guy was first, I won't lie. But just now, as you say, once kind of listened to what's had to been said, I'm feeling not bad. I'm feeling not bad, which is a nice place to be at the end of the day. You know, our club's just signed. Ultimately, that's the 20th manager of Rangers Football Club. We should be able to feel a wee bit chip about it. So we'll get into what he's been saying. He's saying the right things. And he's here and he's us. So we're going to get behind him because he's running our club as it is. So definitely a change of emotion from a few days ago, for the better, and that is I'm glad to be saying that.
Yes, the official announcement on the Rangers website did say Rangers Football Club is delighted to confirm the appointment of Russell Martin as head coach of our men's first team on a 3-year deal. Martin, 39, has managed over 250 games in a professional football at MK Dons, Swansea City and Southampton, leading the latter to promotion to the Premier League in 2024. He was capped 29 times for Scotland. Martin's playing career was extensive, not at least as captain at Norwich City in the English top flight, while he was also on a short loan spell at Rangers in 2018. Joining Martin in Glasgow will be assistant head coach Matt Gill and performance coach Rhys Owens. We'll go on to obviously speak about what Russell Martin had to say. Look, when I seen the official announcement this morning, I was like, right, well, we all kind of knew it was coming, and at that point I was just waiting to hear what they had to say. Is it a glamorous appointment? No, probably not. It's not one that's had anywhere near a reaction that probably Gerrard did, but again, can you really compare the career of Russell Martin and compare the career of Steven Gerrard? Absolutely not. Steven Gerrard is a completely different world away from Russell Martin, and that's no disrespect, it's just the truth. So I can understand the kind of clamour. And you've got to remember where we were when Gerrard was appointed. So when Gerrard was appointed, it was a massive name. It was a huge name to be attracted to our football club due to the kind of period that the club was going through at the time. So there was always going to be more hype around that. Today, I think a lot of fans are feeling, well, there's been an overwhelming kind of negative reaction, I think, to Russell Martin being the Rangers manager. Ross, before I go any further, though, is that in itself, though, not a good sign? Am I trying to look for positives where there might not be any? In terms of how I am looking at the board's decision, the process that they've been through, the fact that they knew that this probably wasn't going to be a very popular appointment. I don't think that they're not daft. They're going to have known. They're going to put feelers out. They're going to have had an idea surrounding it and about how it was going to be. But they have went through this rigorous process, as it's been called, to get the next Rangers manager. And as unpopular as it may have been, they've decided that it is going to be Russell Martin. That for me is brave, and I'm not totally against that. I'm not totally against the board going, no, this is going to be our man. I know that's come back and bit us on the backside before, but when with the like of backing Philip Clement extending his contract, but this isn't the same board. It's not the same owners. It's different guys now. So for that alone, I'm going, well, they're brave and they're going to kind of stick by their decision. If it has been a rigorous process, as they're letting us believe, and Russell is the number one choice, as they are making us believe with the words that they've said today's press conference, I'm going, right, well, if he's your man, let's see it then.
I think you're spot on. I think the last few days we've been, singing the praise of the 49ers, how this is, how it is a big, exciting takeover that it is. And ultimately, these guys that we're praising, this is the decision they went for. So we're going to get behind them from that point of view. I think it was made very clear from Patrick Stewart that even a few months ago that the popular decisions won't be made because that's not what they're going for. They're looking for what they believe is success. I personally have full faith in all this takeover news. Genuinely, I do. The excitement behind it, the prospect of what could be. I know it is what could be at the end of the day, but I do have full faith in them. And if this is genuinely who they believe is going to take us forward, then I'll get behind it. I will get behind it. It is a wee bit out there. It's not maybe, as you say, it's not maybe the most glamorous thing in the world, but I'd need to trust them at the end of the day. I do need to trust them. They are the reason why they're in the position that they are, and I am sat here at the end of the day. So I think there's that is definitely the skeptics behind it, right? But as you say, it's just if these are who this new board believes the guy, got to trust them. We've got to trust them for just now.
At the end of the day, I think all Rangers fans, well, it's me in particular, I have been wrong on many occasions about players, about maybe not so much managers recently anyway, considering we've appointed about 45 in the last 2 months. But like on players especially, I have been wrong about players, and I'll openly hold my hands up and say, yeah, I was wrong. Say when initially there, Russell Martin looked like he was the front runner, I was feeling pretty underwhelmed, and I was going, I don't know if this is really the right idea. I still have my doubts. I still think there's a lot of work to be done, but I'm still at the point where I'm like, well, there is no other choice now apart from Tubac, the manager. I was the same even when Clement was made manager or whoever else is going as manager. We don't really have a choice now. He is the next Rangers manager. He is the guy that is hopefully going to lead us forward. And as I say, we don't have a choice now apart from to back him. There's quite a lengthy press conference held today, obviously with the unveiling of Russell Martin with Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell, obviously including Russell Martin there to answer questions from the press and fan media. Russell Martin said himself it was his number one choice of jobs that were on the table to him. Most importantly, I think that a lot of people wanted to hear about was he was asked about his style, his philosophy, his tactics. He made it quite clear that he can adapt, Ross. I think he made quite a prominent point of making that, no, every team that I've played at, we've played different football. And I think it was kind of labelled at him that he was a bit of a stickler and he'll stick to his plan A and there will be no plan B. I'm hoping next week to have Adam Thornton on the podcast as well to kind of dig in his tactical mind to see if he can give a bit of clarity on Russell Martin. But I think that was something that we all probably had to hear, Ross, from Russell Martin, that he can adapt, he can make changes, and it's not just plan A. Our plan B is to do plan A better.
It's what I needed to hear, to be honest, because that's one of the things that was put me off. See, whenever you go into Twitter, you go into wherever, and you see Southampton fans say it doesn't change, and straight away you're like, come on! Like, of all the things I want to not be hearing, that's the first one. So that there's definitely I can sleep a bit more peacefully this evening after hearing that. I think as well, mate, he's one thing that he got across for me. I think he's just fundamentally, you're going to see the kind of roots of football, just hard work, grit. I think he's got that bit about him. I was listening to a Sky Sports interview with, I think it was Jamie Carragher, and how if he was to go back and do manager again, he'd have more onus on the dark arts. Just wonderful. So there's definitely again, he's saying all the right things. We'll see it in a few months, I'm sure. But I do think you're going to see just traditional football, just a bit of grit, and that's what we're after. So yeah, I think he'll know, and I hope he'll know this. Both from being, he's been at the club before. He's grown up in Britain. That for us, like going to Kilmarnock away, whatever, he's going to change that to how he plays in Europe, whatever. And he knows that that's equally as important. I do genuinely believe that he'll know that going to wherever in the league is equally as important as these big games. So from that point of view, I'm excited about that. So yeah, I think again from what he's saying, it's all hot air at the moment, but it's hot air that I can listen to for the time being, and I can get behind.
Yeah, I think as well the focus on him as a player, especially in his time with us, I don't really see it being relevant. To be honest, I don't understand how he was terrible for us. I don't, but he wasn't a manager. He was a centre half, and even himself today during his interview admitted that he almost has a bit of regret around the way that things went when he was at Rangers for the kind of short spell that he was here, that he wasn't in the right place physically, maybe mentally as well, to really perform at his best. And he admitted himself that he didn't believe the fact that he was even going to get to play in the Premier League. If you'd have told him that at 18, he would never have believed that he was going to play in the Premier League. But it was all due to his hard work and his determination and his willingness to succeed. And the ambition for him was always to go into coaching, always to become a head coach, be a manager. And look, it might all just be words, it is, but again, I thought he handled himself pretty well. I think he knows, but based on what I've heard, and I quickly watched the interview that was released on Rangers YouTube there of just him on on his own. I quickly watched that before we came on air, and I don't think he's one for not to understand what this is going to be about, what the stress and the goldfish bowl that it is in Scotland. I think that's something that will go in his favour. I think he understands the pressures that are going to come with this job. Do I think everything's going to run perfectly right now? I generally have got no idea. I've got no idea what way things are going to go. But everything he was saying, I was going, well, at least you do understand the demands of what it's going to be the kind of the focal point, to be the at the end of the day, you'll be the lightning rod for anything that possibly goes wrong, because he is the one that will face the cameras more often than not. Ross, as him being he's been appointed as the head coach, okay, so that tells you the structure that Rangers are going to have within the coaching team, within the management team, within the footballing side of things. Obviously, it's going to go to Thelwell and then Patrick Stewart, obviously above that as well, in terms of other people might get brought in as well, and etc. etc. But it now means that there is a clear structure. We have a clear structure of what everybody is planning to do, and what also quite reassuring to me is these guys are all footballing men who have been here and done this before. This is not guys that are, with all the niceness in the world, no, they're not just businessmen, if that makes sense. They're not just guys that are in it for kind of a business. It's not because of an investment or whatever they've made into a football club. These are footballing guys. And I'm taking a wee bit of reassurance in that. I'm taking a wee bit of insurance in and going, this process has been long. Is he the guy that I wanted? Probably not. Am I a guy that's been involved in making these sort of decisions before? Absolutely not. So I'm going to have to trust these guys on their word. At the end of the day, we need stability. We needed a structure put in place that everybody knows their job, everybody knows where they fall, and they know their responsibilities in order to push the club forward. For far too long, Rangers have been scattergun, and this appointment of the manager, I think, is probably what I'm most happy about, is the fact we finally got to the point where the manager is now appointed. We know who the permanent manager is going to be going forward, and this is really the start of the start, if that makes sense, because we've got to this point, we've all went, we need that man, we need the takeover, we need the sporting director, we need the manager, and then we go from there. And now it is go.
It is, and it's, as you say, it's been a long time coming. It's been a very long time coming. I think if you look at the folk we have in place just now, from the board to Patrick Stewart to Thelwell, am I content with how we are, how we are just now? Yes, I'd say I genuinely would say if you told me where we'd be just now, yeah, I'd be quite chuffed. And if it is a wee bit controversial just now with the manager, then is that potentially just what's always going to happen? There was always going to be, no perfect answer. So if that is this kind of wee bit unsteadiness with the manager situation, that everyone's maybe not as keen on him, is that maybe just natural? I don't know. It might just be. I do think we're in a good place just now. There's definitely some optimism to be had. So yeah, it is all going smoothly. For now, Rangers don't make that my famous last words. You know how it goes. But at the moment, going into this upcoming very, very important period, we are in a much more stable position by the looks of it. It's now just translating that onto the park. I think he's made quite clear, Russell Martin, that there's work to be done. There's definite work to be done, and there's players in there that I know that he has a track record of bringing players up with him. Will you see Joseph Aribo back in a Rangers shirt? You never know, but there's definitely some players needing brought in and some needing sent out the door. So that's not the next, but that's literally it. Was just. Once you get the manager in, now we can start talking about transfers. Now we can start talking about the £80 million we're spending on strikers, because that's how it's happening, lads. That's how the takeover's happening. So it's now's the next exciting bit of it all. Bringing in some players and just getting this underway, because it is not long until we are back. It is not long indeed. And dare I say it, I'm quite looking forward to be back. So yeah, we'll start all the transfer rumours now. So I love this time of year. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be crazy rumours now. There'll be all sorts of things flying about in terms of transfer rumours. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Right, Curry's asked Scott, what's your thoughts? Would you have a Russell Martin frame photo in your man cupboard? See if he wins a treble, mate, there will be a picture. I will put the picture wherever you like. You can pick the space on the wall, Curry, and I'm telling you, I will put a picture of Russell Martin in my man cupboard. No problem at all. No problem at all. Maybe with a picture of his missus as well. Just I'll leave that one right there. But no, in terms of what you said there about it's kind of time to go, it's time to start, and we are moving into this transfer window, which is going to be a pretty massive one in terms of who we're bringing in, who we're releasing from the club. There's always already been players released, all of which I completely agree with. A few question marks under some of the youth players where I thought, what was the point in that? I didn't really see. There's a few names there where I thought they would have a chance at least to kind of kick on, but didn't really seem to come. But he was asked during the presser as well about, do you need time? Do you need patience from the support? And his answer was pretty much no. His answer was no. He's here to win games. We are here to be the aggressor with or without the ball, and we're here to win while developing. All of the things might be sound bites, but every single one of them he said, I just nodded. Honestly, as I was listening to it, I nodded, and I knew, and I could feel myself nodding, and I was like, I can feel a wee tingle happening. All of a sudden, I'm already convinced, and I know it is as simple as that, but I think terms and tactically and what he's saying there, in the time of patience, he already knows he doesn't have time. You don't have time. You have to be successful as of right now. Obviously, with the appointment not being massively popular with the Rangers support, then he doesn't really have any grace period. He's going to need to win right now, and I think he's well aware that he's going to need to win right now. But as he said, be the aggressor with or without the ball. Be the one that dominates transitions. Be the ones that dominate all over the pitch. We are going to outrun. We're going to outwork. We're going to be the harder working team of any team that we play. All of that stuff is everything that we all want. And don't everybody forget that. And it might just be a soundbite, but that's everything that we've said when we see our team, when we see us lapse into this lackadaisical passive football that we've seen so many times over the past 4 years. We've seen it far, far too often. He's come in and said that won't be happening under his watch. And at face value, Ross, he's set that now out. That is now his. It's going to be his benchmark. It'll be his benchmark he'll be beat over the head with it should the team not do what he says. But the fact that we are going to be the hardest working team, that is the basics of being a Rangers player. You should never be outrun by the opposition. You should never, the other team should never want it more than you. You should always want it more because of who you play football for. To some, that might sound crazy, but to us, that's exactly what it means to be a Rangers player. So, in terms of the tactical approach that he's saying that he wants to play, I'm all for that. I'm all for being on the front foot, being aggressive, being the aggressor in and out of transitions, and dominating all over the pitch. This is what we should be doing to 90% of the Scottish game. The only bit that I worry about that is in European football, we could get cut out. He's going to need to find a balancing act between what he wants to do in the league and what he wants to do in Europe. That's my only real concern. But what's your thoughts on the way that he's saying about being the aggressor? I think it's music to our ears, and I know it is just words just now, but it's words that I wanted to hear.
No, it is, and you're right. It resonates with who Rangers are, right? Because Rangers should be that. They should be that, and it's one thing that genuinely, and I mean this, it pained me last season how easily we drop points at home, or not even just drop points. How easily we'd look like the second best team at home. It was honestly last season. We'll look back at last season in a few years' time, and probably, if we don't already know, just understand how shocking a season it was. It was not good at all. So if we can get this identity back that Rangers should have and it should never have left at the end of the day, let's be honest, then that's brilliant. And you're right, there will be cons to it. There was a really good on Twitter. I think it was Saint Statistics gives like a Southampton kind of fan page. Did a really, really good kind of thread. And kind of what I took from it was, good at breaking low blocks. The one thing, when it clicks, we'll score a lot of goals, and that's the main bit. When it clicks, it might not be perfect overnight, but will hopefully be a bit more just a bit ruthless in front of goal. But obviously, with that comes your cons. I think it was Alan McCoy who was speaking about it. Brentford v Southampton. I remember watching the highlights of it. Southampton playing out from the back, and honestly, mate, it's actually terrifying if that is a prospect of what we could be playing, because absolute bomb scares at the back. If we can get defenders who can play a style of football like to a better standard than that, then yes, it'll hopefully work. But it's all about who it actually is we have in those positions, because I cannot be watching that happening at Ibrox. Honestly, it's heart and mouth stuff. So if that's the style that he wants, brilliant. I love it. We just need to get the right 11 tools in there, if you know what I mean. Just need to get those 11 or 15, whatever players on the bench.
Get rid of the 11 tools that are there currently and put better tools there, basically.
Well, I wasn't going to say it, but now you went there, it's so we'll need to sort that out. But as we say, that's where the transfer rumours come thick and fast. So there's there is some definite foundations there. It's just whether we can back that up with the players on the park.
Yeah, Steve O'Gers has said as well, it's the league we want most importantly to get back on top. I 100% agree with that, I do. But see, the new owners, they will not agree with that, because winning the league is really pitiful considering what we can make in European football. So they'll be very much concentrating on both. So again, I do believe that due to what they're saying, again, I know, just words, caveat, everything we've saying, that everything we've been told today is just words. I do understand that, but the new owners have made it quite clear that we have to be successful to an extent in Europe. In order, we need Champions League money. They want Champions League money in order to make us fully sustainable as a business and to grow the business for the new owners. We're going to need Champions League money, so he's going to need to figure out a way of doing both. Ultimately, yes, right now I couldn't care less what would happen in Europe for the next kind of 2 or 3 years. Honestly, I couldn't care, as long as we go and win the league. That's literally all I want. Rangers need to win the league at least twice at the next 3 years would be very pleasant. It's not, I don't ask for much. I mean, I'm giving 1 year off, maybe. No, I'm not, because by the time that year came round, I would still be saying Rangers should go on and win the league. But yeah, I think he's going to need to find a structure in order a way to be effective in the league and effective in Europe, which is going to be a difficult balance for him. It really is. But yet, to nail on the head there, Ross, it's now about player recruitment. I don't think there's any doubt that the recruitment that he's going to need is going to be pretty substantial. I think he's already going to know himself, and based on the interview there that I watched just before we came on air, he's already had the kind of assessment of the squad. He's already worked with the coaching staff that are there, with the kind of footballing side of things that are there. That I think he'll already pretty much know that we need improvement, let's be honest about this, Ross, in every single area on the pitch. There isn't one area that you can say, that's solid, we don't really need to touch that. Barring maybe the midfield three, you could possibly say we could be all right there. But the rest, I mean, I would still like to see an extra body in the midfield. I would definitely like to see for at least 3-4 possible defenders coming in. And again, in the front line, you're looking at the same 3 potentially to come in there, unless you can somehow magically get a tune out of Oscar Cortez, which I'm not holding out too much hope for. I'm not going to lie, but I'm again happy to be proved wrong on that. I'll say that on record now. But he said himself, Ross, about utilising the academy, and I think this is something that the new owners are going to need to do as well, and probably make a decision on. At the end of the day, the academy is not working. We are not seeing enough real potential in players coming through. Ross McCausland is the most recent one, but I think we would all agree that Ross McCausland probably doesn't have a future at Rangers. I don't think he's good enough, and I don't think he's likely to be good enough. But he said himself that he wants to produce assets. He wants to bring through using young talent. Whether he gets the chance to or not, I'm not sure. But do you think Rangers should be still looking to develop as much as the academy as possible, or is that something that probably needs addressed as maybe less important, because there is a lot of investment goes into that and we don't see much results from it? But Russell saying it in his presser today makes me think maybe the new owners have a bit of an idea behind that.
I think definitely if we're going down the route of getting the wage structure down, then you're bringing in your youth players are definitely a way to go. I think Felwell as well is kind of known for his specialities with bringing in youth players. So I can't see that happening. I think there was a good point made in the comments. The fact that even the likes of like your Lyle Camerons are coming in, these kind of younger players, I definitely starting to bed them in. I did like what I saw from your likes of Bailey Rice, from Bailey Curtis. Yeah, I've seen quite a few youth players on the bench, even like sort of like NCO. There's players there who are kind of making that breakthrough into the first team. It's just whether is it sufficient enough yet? I don't know, but you need to be bedding these players in. It's something that I maybe wish that we've seen a bit more at the end of the season. But we need to, if we do need to go down this route, it's finding game time for them, and finding game time that's going to be meaningful for them, not just 5-10 minutes at the end. So it's try to find that fine balance. In terms of the players in our squad just now, I agree. The midfield, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm not fully content with the midfield because Kevin De Bruyne isn't in it. You know, I'd love to have everyone in the midfield, but it's definitely one of the stronger areas that we have, especially with like Lyle Cameron coming in. He was getting some more contributions in terms of goals and assists at the end of the season. So I'm happy there. I mean, the one is if Raskin stays, but that's I'll worry about that when the time comes. But you're right, all around the pitch, it's just trying to find some sort of gem. I mean, if Dessers wants to keep scoring for Nigeria and get his value up, then go for it. But I also don't think he's the biggest problem just now. And I can't believe that I'm saying that. It's 2025, it's June, and Cyril Dessers isn't the biggest problem at Rangers. Jigs. But we seriously need some recruitment coming in, and we need it soon because as I say, it's not long to go. It's not long to go at all. And you've even got the likes of, Tierney's no longer here. Where's the goals going to come from? Hadji's no longer here. I'm not saying Hadji be the answer, but you know what I mean? There's some serious depth needed, and not just depth, just surface level needed. So yes, I'm not asking for much, but at least 12 players would be nice for this window. Just the 12.
Yeah, just the 12, mate. I think that it's massive, and no matter what manager came in, the project of the process, and probably not a project, the process of building the squad was always going to be paramount. It's always going to take priority because we've been left with too many that don't contribute nearly enough for the money that we pay them, and we have left with a lot of guys that we want to offload, but we're going to probably struggle to do so. I think there's going to be a bit of a balancing act at the start. I think you will probably get some form of new manager bounce. You tend to always do. He did make reference to players possibly getting a second chance or seeing a different side or a different version of players that are currently there. I'm not sure who that's directed at. I think we've all made our mind up pretty clearly based on this season who's good enough to hang around and who should really be moved on. However, the good ones that we think to be hang around, as you just mentioned, Ross, are the likes of Raskin, Diomande attracting interest from Everton. Raskin is playing for the national team. There's going to be people sniffing about them now, and we might need to sell them in order to bring in the money to basically re-recruit, to bring other players in that are of a similar calibre of the types, to develop them and to go part of this trading model, the player trading model, which is going to be vital for the club going forward. They've already addressed that it's going to do that. So it's a very interesting window. It's an exciting time. It is an exciting time because there's going to be much news, much players coming and going. The Rangers Twitter will be doing whirlwinds, I would imagine, for the next couple of months anyway, in terms of the ins and outs of who's staying and who is going. But the task starts right now. It does start right now. And even after the presser today, we heard from Patrick Stewart and we heard from Thelwell. For me, I thought he spoke very well. I think he's a guy that fully understands the job in hand. Patrick Stewart, I'm yet to be convinced, and I'm sorry to say that, but I don't like to be too negative, but I'm yet to be convinced about him. But in terms of Thelwell, and I thought great, and he explained how recruitment would work between him and Russell's obviously going to have a big say in the players that are identified to bring in. So yeah, as I say, it's as much it was never going to fully convince Rangers support base as a whole about about him not being everyone's first choice, because he wasn't everyone's first choice. I think we all now have to just go, well, there's no point in being angry about it, because you're going to keep yourself up at night, aren't you? So you might as well accept what's happened, back the manager, and move forward with it. Time will tell if I'm right or if I'm wrong in my initial feelings about it. But after today, like Ross said earlier, I'm very much like, right, let's go then. Let's start the process. Let's see things getting moving. Ross, is there anything final you took away from any kind of takeaways at all from the pressure and what we've heard? Is there anything we've not discussed that you would like to address? What's your final thoughts on it all?
I wouldn't say so, mate. I wouldn't say so. I kind of just reiterate the fact he speaks very well. I know it's an underrated thing.
He did speak well.
Even
Is that no? I suppose he has been in the Premier League and stuff though, so he probably was always going to speak quite well. I know he got a bit of criticism for being a wee bit kind of smarmy and a wee bit. I don't know what the word is, because I can't think of the word. Arrogant, maybe arrogant in terms of the kind of style of play. And he mentioned that about not wanting to constantly talk about the style of play, because it was something that came relevant as soon as he got into the Premier League. But everything that he said and the way that he said it, you're right, mate. He spoke very well.
I think as a manager, you try and find that balance between arrogance and confidence. He's probably edgy. I know where folk are coming from with the arrogance, but in the grand scheme of things, I thought he came across very well. It's definitely his press conferences. I look forward to listening to going forward. So yeah, I think overall, mate, I'm glad that we're in a slightly different boat than we were even potentially a few hours ago. Even after listening to that press conference, there's something brewing in the background. But as we say, it's just about getting it on the pitch now. And just as I say, can't wait for it to happen. I don't quite know what's going on, but it's first game's 6th of July. We've had our pre-season games. So it will not be long until he's in the dugout at Ibrox. So yeah, here we go. It's a new year at Rangers, and I'm all here for it.
Yeah, the new era is very much starting on the pitch as we speak, and it'll be interesting to see what the first moves are. I've seen, look, there's going to be decisions that he makes that's going to maybe appease some and maybe appease some others. Andrew Duncan, thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member, mate. Very much appreciated. And again, that is Northern Ireland Green, but I very much appreciate you joining the channel, mate. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, there's going to be decisions. There's massive decisions to come for him as well, and like I've already seen Curry saying it, because Curry's favourite thing is to do, is he going to make Tav the captain or not? But he's got a point as well though, because is he going to do that? Is he going to stick with Tav? Are we going to move away from that? Is that another era that we're going to move away from, start a new era with a new captain? I think we all know if Raskin is going to stay and we're going to extend his contract, and then I think you give him the armband. I think we would all probably be on board with that, because I don't think Tavernier should be a regular starter for Rangers. Still think he's got a bit to play, probably. I can't see Tavernier really moving on. He might, but I can't really see him moving on. So I think he's still got a bit to play. Justin Muir, thank you very much, mate. Very much appreciated. Ross, you can do it since Ali's not here.
God bless America. Thank you, Justin. Thank you.
Very much appreciated, Justin, mate. Thank you so much. I say there's all those sort of decisions to come. I think ultimately the best thing that he can do as Rangers manager is to win football games. I think if we get to the Old Firm game and we have not dropped a point, first Old Firm of the season, and we win that, things are going to look very different. And I know that's easier said than done, and I know that's quite off the cuff to just say something like that, but it's true. Everybody will change their tune. If all of a sudden we match them until we get to the Old Firm and we win the Old Firm and we go 3 points clear, everybody will change their tune. It's just exactly how it goes. And if we get through the European qualifiers, everybody's going to change their tune. So it's over to him. I think he will know what he has to do. I think he will know. It's clear as day to him that he has to win football games, and he has to win them now. And I think even from what he was saying, I'll take that that's kind of sunk in for him, and he does kind of fully accept it. My takeaway really from today, and again, maybe I'm being a wee bit too glass half full, but it's how I'm choosing to be with this, is we've got footballing men and footballing jobs, and I'm like, right, that's a start. At least there's a structure there. At least there is something that we can identify with. I do think the head coach role is probably the way to go now moving forward. I think we tried the manager thing without a sporting director or a director of football, whatever you want to call it, without that role there, and I don't think it worked. So this is definitely the way forward now for Rangers to do it, as pretty much every modern club runs now. I think it's imperative for that. But Ross, I also think it's important for Thelwell and for Patrick Stewart to share the burden a little bit. Thelwell especially, they can't hide away and just let Russell Martin take a beating if things are going a little bit out of sorts or not going the way that we want it to go. They are going to need to share the load with Russell Martin, and I would like to think we'll see them more often than we ever seen anybody else in terms of speaking to the press.
Yeah, I think so. I think Patrick Stewart said a wee while ago that he won't come out and make regular statements, that he won't hear from every week. Obviously, this is when Clement was just about to leave. So from Patrick Stewart, we'll hear. I think there'll be definitely communication there, but maybe not as as frequent as maybe some would hope. But I do think as well we've got modern footballing folk there, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
maybe that's something to kind of chuck in there, that maybe we will hear that communication that we want to hear. Because at the end of the day, that's the one thing we can ask for, is just a bit of communication sometimes. And I think as well, even if you look at the 49ers folk, America, big, bold, they're not going behind the way at all. So I can transparency. It's a era that's now entering Rangers. Will this be a more transparent era? I hope so. So yeah, I as you say, it's warming to hear that there is football men in these jobs, and also as well, just I forgot to mention, there's obviously Niels Coppin is out the door by the sounds of it. So that even things as well. It's just we don't. Although that does mean that there's a vacancy in the cafeteria going, because somebody needs to make the sandwiches. So get your CV, because honestly, the guy had everything to do. He had every single job. So it's so nice to hear that is just taking the load off, but refilling it with just footballing people, as you say. That's all. I know I'm just repeating what you're saying, mate, but it's round pegs, round holes. Love it. Inject it. So
yeah, 100%, mate. That's it. Like the round pegs, round holes, not square pegs, round holes. Like you're spot on, man. And it's not promoting people for the sake of promoting people. It's not moving people around for the sake of it. It's proper guys in position to do the job that they're there to do, and they've got experience of doing that job previously. And I'm like, yes, okay, let's go. I'm fine with that. And it's a start. Look, it's a start. I think more than anything, we just need stability as a football club. And the new direction that we're going to go under the new owners is obviously very much at its infancy. There's going to be many things I would think that are going to happen short term, kind of medium term and long term. There's going to be a lot of changes. The club's going to run a completely different way. But this is the bit that we all wanted to get to. We all wanted to get to this point. Is it the guy we all wanted? Very much not. I don't think there's any Rangers fan that I've spoke to anyway that came out and said, Russell Martin is the guy for me. He's the guy to take us going forward. I want to appoint him as Rangers manager. But ultimately, the board have decided, new owners have decided that this is their guy. And you've got to remember, these new owners are, I don't want to say saving us. Saving us is the wrong thing, but they're giving us the jolt and a redirection that we needed. We needed a complete overhaul. We were stagnant as a football club. We were one step forward, two steps back. These are the guys that have come in and decided that they've got the ideas, they've got the knowledge, they've got the plan to take us forward. And Russell Martin is part of that plan. Whether we like it or lump it, that's the case. And I wish him absolutely nothing but the best. Genuinely, I want him to go on and be a massive roaring success, because if he's a massive roaring success, then so is my football team, and that's all I care about. All I care about. At the end of the day, I don't really care who the new owners are and who is the chief executive commercial officer of whatever. I don't really care. All I care about is my team winning trophies, and ultimately this is the guy that the new owners and the people in charge have decided is going to be the guy to do it. So I'm going to back him. I'm going to stand behind him. I'm going to say, right, okay, You might not have been my first choice, but I'm all for it. I'm absolutely all for it. Now, just don't go out and sign Shankland, because I've already seen it. That's the rumour in the chat just now, and I'm like, no, that's the wrong way to go. That's the wrong place to start. Let's aim a little bit higher, shall we? Let's aim a little bit higher. I know that's kind of rich to say in terms of Martin being brought in, but no, better caliber player than Shankland, please, because I think we need more than that. That'll do us for tonight. Pretty much anyway. Ross, the new away top, also seen Curry having a dig about it, saying that he hates it. I have not seen it in person yet, but it's a belter.
I love it. Honestly, I love it, and I'm glad, because I won't lie, mate. The home kit's not for me. I'm not a fan of it. I don't know if that's just me being the youth that I am, and a traditional kit. I know I want these new flashy kits, but I really like the away kit. It is very, very nice. I think it comes out tomorrow, 8 o'clock. I think they're saying 8 a.m. So yes, I shall be there. I shall be getting it for sure. I know it's a wee bit of a retro throwback. As we say, see if we can find that fine balance between, yes, a modern kit, but you can have throwbacks from time to time. So I think it's a perfect blend for me. And I hope that we're winning some stuff in it, because I always remember I was on holiday and we kicked off the season in that like lovely orange and navy kit. It was against Kilmarnock and we lost 1-0 away, and we never saw the kit since. See if I can have kits I have some happy memories in. I know it's too much to ask for, but just if we can win some things in the away kit, that'd be nice. But yeah, I really like it, mate. I do really like it. And yes, it shall be making its way into the McLean basket.
Yeah, I think it'll join my collection as well. I've yet to go see the home top. I've not had the chance to go and see the home top and the away top, but I'm very much going to see both of them. I maybe buy one now and maybe I'll wait for them to go down to a 10 at the end of the season to buy the other one. Considering they're 80 quid a top, which is just absolutely bonkers. Jim Sloan, member for 34 months, man. Absolutely mental. Thank you so much, Jim. Very much appreciate your support, mate. You've been about for as long as I can remember, genuinely, Jim. So thank you so much, mate. Genuinely really appreciate that. And just to finish up, I seen that Rangers on Tour likes to have a wee dig at me from time to time for sitting in the club deck. He said, hope the guys in the club deck get their prawn sandwiches, Scott. It's now beer hats and hot dogs, mate, and you're going to need to deal with that, because that's all we'll be getting up there, because the Americans are in town. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to us tonight. We will be back probably next Friday, unless there's any sort of serious breaking news next week as well. In fact, no, I'll be back hopefully kind of midweek with Adam as we dive a little bit deeper into Russell Martin, the manager or the coach. I'm hopefully be back one day next week with Adam. That's coming. Clean Tube, thank you very much. $9.99, absolutely magic. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. That's very nice of you. But yeah, we'll be back next week, hopefully with Adam, to do a bit of a deep dive in tactics. For joining me tonight, Roscoe, thank you very much, mate.
Thank you. That's class. Thank you very much to the Max Loyal for the £10. That is very much appreciated. It's good to be back. It's felt way too long, mate. It has, honestly. So it's good to be back. It's good to see everybody on. And yeah, just let hopefully the exciting times start. Because it's been a long time coming, but it's not long to go. So let's keep these good vibes going and go and get your away kits. So yes, thank you everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, and let's set alight to the transfer rumours that are going to be blowing up all over the place. There'll be clickbait left, right, and centre. That is for absolute sure. Thank you for all the donations tonight, new members as well, and everybody contributing in the chat. It is always good to see you coming in and having a chat, no matter what your opinion is. It's always good to have you involved, so very much appreciate that. I say I will be back next week, definitely next Friday, and hopefully midweek as well. I'll be back with a pod with Adam as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, all the usual stuff. And Russell Martin, next Rangers head coach. Okay, so let's get going. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Cheers, everybody.